Harold winced as he slowly straightened his back after picking up the morning newspaper. The pain radiating from his spine had become unbearable, and his comfortable old slippers were the hidden culprit damaging his spine. At 74, he'd always taken pride in his independence, never asking for help, still fixing things around the house, rarely complaining. But this morning was different. He couldn't even stand upright without leaning on the wall for support. As he shuffled back to his armchair, his soft, unsupportive slippers sliding across the hardwood floor, it felt like his body was betraying him in ways he could no longer ignore. When his daughter visited that afternoon and found him struggling just to get out of his chair, tears welled in her eyes. "Dad, this isn't normal aging," she insisted, looking down at his worn-out slippers. "I think those might be part of the problem." Harold dismissed her concern. How could something so comfortable be causing such pain? But that moment marked the beginning of a realization that neither of them was prepared for. You clicked on this video because you felt it too, that moment when your body betrays you in ways you can't ignore anymore. Maybe it's the stiffness when you first stand up, the ache that intensifies as the day progresses, the sharp pain that occasionally shoots down your leg without warning. If you've experienced any of these symptoms, you need to watch this entire video, because what you're dismissing as just part of getting older could be significantly worsened by something you're wearing every day, and every day you ignore it puts you at greater risk of permanent damage to your spine. For those of you who pride yourselves on self-reliance, who don't like to make a fuss about health concerns, this message is especially for you. Because those soft, cushiony slippers that feel so good when you first put them on aren't just convenient. They could be setting you up for a cascade of spinal problems that won't resolve on their own. Martha, a vibrant 69-year-old grandmother who prided herself on still being able to get down on the floor to play with her grandchildren. "I've always been the fun grandma," she'd say with a sparkle in her eye. But over the course of a year, she noticed getting back up became increasingly difficult. Her lower back would seize, sending sharp pain down her left leg. Her doctor suggested it was just age-related degeneration, prescribing pain medication that left her feeling foggy and unlike herself. What no one thought to ask about was her footwear, specifically the plush, cloud-soft slippers she'd received as a birthday gift and wore religiously around her house. These slippers, with their completely flat soles and zero support, had gradually changed her walking pattern, flattening her arches and tilting her pelvis forward with each step. The connection between her beloved slippers and increasing back pain only became clear when her adult daughter, a physical therapist, visited for a week and noticed something alarming. Her mother's posture visibly changed the moment she put on her slippers. What's frightening is that this isn't an isolated incident. Many seniors are walking around right now with symptoms they're downplaying, not realizing that every week of delay could mean irreversible damage to their spine. Even more concerning is that healthcare providers often miss this connection entirely, focusing on treating the pain rather than identifying this surprisingly common cause. Here's exactly how your slippers are damaging your spine. 1. Most traditional slippers provide zero arch support, allowing your foot to flatten with each step. This flattening doesn't stay isolated to your feet. It travels upward, changing the alignment of your entire skeletal structure. 2. When your arch collapses, your ankles roll inward, pronate, causing your knees to turn slightly inward, your hips to tilt forward, and ultimately your spine to curve excessively. This chain reaction places pressure on spinal discs that were never designed to bear weight in that position. 3. Soft soles that compress fully transfer shock directly to your spine instead of absorbing it. While this might feel cushiony at first contact, the compression means your body receives the full impact of each step with nothing to dissipate the force before it reaches your vertebrae. 4. Backless slippers force your toes to grip with each step, activating a primitive, toe-gripping reflex that changes your natural gait and creates tension patterns that travel up through your entire posterior chain, the connected system of muscles running from your feet all the way up your back. 5. The instability from loose-fitting slippers makes your body constantly compensate, engaging muscles that should be relaxed and relaxing muscles that should be engaged. This reversed pattern strains your spinal muscles and can lead to painful muscle imbalances. Robert, a retired engineer of 72, experienced this connection in a particularly dramatic way. After a lifetime of standing at drafting tables and construction sites, he valued his evening routine, coming home, removing his work boots, and slipping into his soft, cushiony slippers. They were my signal that the workday was over, he explained. Putting them on meant relaxation. But over time, a curious pattern emerged. His back pain was actually worse on weekends and during vacations, times when he wore his slippers for most of the day instead of just evenings. It took a conversation with his spine specialist to make the connection. His work boots, while not particularly comfortable, provided structural support that his slippers lacked entirely. The more time he spent in his slippers, the more his back suffered. What's particularly concerning is how this problem compounds with age-related changes. As we get older, the discs between our vertebrae naturally lose some moisture and elasticity. Our supporting muscles may weaken if not regularly engaged. These normal changes make proper alignment even more critical, yet many seniors are spending 80% of their at-home time in footwear that actively works against proper alignment. Thomas, a retired accountant of 70, developed a noticeable forward stoop after years of wearing cushiony slide-on slippers. They felt like walking on clouds, he'd always said. His family assumed his posture changes were just inevitable aging until his doctor pointed out something remarkable. Thomas stood straighter immediately when standing barefoot than in his slippers. The slippers were actually forcing his body into a compromised position that, over time, his muscles had accepted as the new normal. What your doctor might not emphasize enough is how quickly this can be reversed. By switching to properly supportive house shoes, Thomas began the process of retraining his body's alignment. Within 3 months, family members were commenting on how much taller he looked. "I gained back almost an inch in height," Thomas reported proudly. "And the constant ache in my lower back has decreased dramatically." For Elaine, a 76-year-old former nurse, the connection between her slippers and her health went beyond back pain. She had begun experiencing concerning balance issues, having had 2 minor falls in her home within a month. Her doctor immediately suggested removing area rugs and installing grab bars, standard fall prevention measures. But Elaine's daughter noticed something else. Her mother's feet slid around inside her oversized fluffy slippers, creating instability with every step. "My mother was essentially walking on shifting sand all day," her daughter explained. Her feet couldn't sense the floor properly through all that cushioning, and the slippers never stayed in the same position on her feet. Every step required subtle balance adjustments that were taxing her already challenged balance system. After switching to properly fitted supportive house shoes, Elaine's balance improved noticeably within weeks. The direct connection between her feet and the floor allowed her proprioceptive system, the body's position sense, to function properly again. The confidence this gave her had emotional benefits that extended far beyond physical safety. Let's talk about what proper supportive house footwear must have. A firm arch support that matches your foot's natural contour, preventing the collapse that initiates the problematic chain reaction up your skeleton. A secure fit that doesn't require toe gripping to stay on, allowing your foot muscles to engage naturally during walking. A sole that's cushioned but doesn't completely compress, providing shock absorption while maintaining stability. A slight heel-to-toe drop rather than being completely flat, supporting your foot's natural architecture. A non-slip bottom for stability on all home surfaces, preventing the subtle adjustments that strain your back muscles. A coverage that keeps your foot secure throughout your stride, eliminating the need for compensatory movements. Elizabeth, a former teacher of 78, visited 2 specialists for persistent lower back pain before someone finally asked about her home footwear. What they discovered stunned everyone. The plush slippers she'd worn for years had contributed to changes in her pelvis alignment that were directly pressuring the exact vertebrae causing her pain. After switching to supportive house shoes, her pain decreased by 70% within 3 weeks, without medication, injections, or other interventions. "I was ready to agree to surgery," Elizabeth confessed. "I tried everything else, or so I thought. No one had ever suggested that what I wore on my feet inside my own home could be causing such significant problems. The change in my pain levels was so dramatic that at first I didn't believe it could be just from changing my slippers. But when I experimentally went back to my old slippers for one day, the pain returned with a vengeance." For immediate relief while transitioning to better footwear, try these targeted exercises that address specific aspects of the problem. 1. Foot arch restoration. While seated, place a small towel on the floor. Using only your toes, grasp and scrunch the towel toward you. Repeat 10 to 15 times daily. This reactivates the small muscles in your feet that support your arch, muscles that have likely weakened from years in unsupportive slippers. 2. Ankle stability reinforcement. Sitting with feet flat, slowly raise just your heels while keeping the balls of your feet on the floor. Hold for 3 seconds, then lower. Repeat 10 times. This strengthens the muscles that prevent ankle rolling, which directly affects knee and hip alignment. 3. Lower back decompression. Lie on your back with knees bent and feet flat. Gently tilt your pelvis to flatten your lower back against the floor. Hold for 3 seconds, then release. Repeat 10 times. This simple movement helps reset the proper curve in your lower spine that may have been altered by poor footwear. 4. Hip flexor stretch. Many people with back pain from poor footwear develop tight hip flexors from the altered posture. Kneel on one knee with the other foot planted in front of you. Gently press forward while keeping your back straight until you feel a stretch in the front of the hip on your kneeling side. Hold for 20 seconds, then switch sides. What's even more surprising, and something few people realize, is the connection between your house footwear and your brain's balance control system. Your feet contain thousands of nerve endings that constantly send position signals to your brain. When these sensors are muffled by overly cushioned slippers, your brain receives dulled, inaccurate information about your position in space. Over time, this can literally rewire your balance mechanisms, leading to increased fall risk through no fault of your own. An unconventional but effective solution many don't know about is contrast walking. This simple practice involves spending 10 minutes daily alternating between wearing your supportive house shoes and going barefoot on various surfaces. This deliberate contrast heightens your brain's awareness of foot position and strengthens the neural pathways that control balance and gait. Many physical therapists use this technique with professional athletes, but it's equally effective for seniors concerned about maintaining mobility. Another little-known approach is toe yoga, specific movements that isolate and strengthen individual toes. Try this. While seated, keep your heel on the floor and lift just your big toe while keeping other toes down. Hold for 3 seconds, then reverse. Press your big toe down while lifting the other toes. These precise movements re-establish neural connections between your feet and brain that have weakened from years in restrictive footwear. For Doris, a 67-year-old with a history of back surgeries, these exercises combined with proper house shoes became the missing piece in her recovery. "I'd had 2 spinal fusions and was still having pain," she recalled. "The surgeries addressed the structural problems, but no one had taught me how to prevent them from recurring. These simple exercises, done faithfully every day, gave me back control over my condition." For those with existing back pain, changing footwear alone won't be a miracle cure, especially if structural damage has already occurred. But it removes a significant daily stress that's been preventing healing and creating ongoing irritation. Your body has remarkable recovery potential when you stop the ongoing damage and give it proper support. William, 73, was deeply skeptical when his daughter replaced his old slippers with supportive house shoes. "They felt strange at first, not as plush," he admitted. "I actually hid them in the closet and went back to my old ones when she left." But after his daughter's persistent encouragement, he agreed to try the new shoes for just 1 week. "I hadn't realized how much energy I was using just to stand up straight in my old slippers. With the new ones, it was like my body sighed with relief. Now I can garden for an hour longer without pain, and my balance is much better too." The emotional component of this issue shouldn't be overlooked. Many seniors have strong attachments to their comfortable slippers. They represent relaxation, comfort, and the well-deserved rest after decades of hard work. Suggesting a change can sometimes meet with resistance that goes beyond the practical aspects. Margaret, 71, received her plush slippers as the last gift from her husband before he passed away. "Getting rid of them felt like losing another connection to him," she explained through tears. The solution was a compassionate compromise. Her slippers were placed in a special memory box with other keepsakes, while new supportive house shoes took their place in her daily life. I realized my husband would have wanted me to take care of myself, to stay active and pain-free, she said. The memory box lets me honor what those slippers meant without them continuing to damage my health. If budget is a concern in making this change, focus on these essential features rather than brand names. A firm midsole that doesn't bend easily in the middle. Test this by trying to fold the shoe in half. Enclosed heel cup that stabilizes your foot and prevents side-to-side rocking. Room for toes to spread naturally without being cramped or compressed. A secure closure like a simple strap or elastic that keeps the shoe in place without constriction. Making this change isn't just about reducing pain, it's about maintaining your mobility and independence. Clara, 79, had resigned herself to using a walker after years of progressive back pain. I thought my independent days were behind me, she said with a catch in her voice. After switching to supportive house shoes and following a gentle strengthening program, she gradually returned to using just a cane and eventually, for shorter distances, walking unassisted. 3 clear signs your current slippers are damaging your spine. 1. Relief position indicator. You feel immediate relief when you sit down after standing or walking in your slippers. This suggests your body is under stress in the standing position due to poor alignment. 2. Home days worse than out days. You have more back pain at the end of days spent mostly at home than on days when you've been out wearing supportive shoes. This direct comparison reveals the impact of your house footwear. 3. Morning stiffness pattern. Your back feels stiffest and most painful in the morning, improving somewhat after you've been up for an hour. This often indicates that your spine has been held in a stressed position during night and early morning hours in slippers. What's frightening is that this connection between slippers and another serious health condition is rarely discussed: sleep quality. When you wear unsupportive slippers during evening hours, the resulting spinal stress and pain can significantly disrupt sleep architecture, reducing the crucial deep sleep phases when tissue repair occurs. This creates a vicious cycle. Poor footwear leads to back pain, which leads to poor sleep, which reduces your body's ability to repair the damage, making the pain worse. Breaking this cycle with proper footwear can improve not just pain levels but overall health, memory, and mood through improved sleep quality. Take this simple test. Stand barefoot and have someone take a photo of your feet from behind. If your ankles noticeably roll inward, pronate, you urgently need proper support to prevent spinal damage. This inward rolling creates a cascade of misalignments that travel up your legs to your spine. Proper supportive footwear can prevent this chain reaction before it leads to disc compression and nerve impingement. The transition to better footwear should be gradual if you've worn unsupportive slippers for years. Start by wearing the new, supportive options for just an hour or 2 each day, gradually increasing as your body adjusts. This gives your muscles time to adapt to the proper alignment. Patricia, 73, used her favorite morning television programs as her transition time. I'd put on my new supportive shoes just for the hour while watching my shows, she explained. Then I'd switch back to my old slippers for the rest of the day. Each week, I added another program to my supportive shoe time until I was wearing them all day without even thinking about it. When shopping for proper house shoes, be wary of marketing terms like cloud-like softness and pillow soft comfort. These features actually prevent your feet from sensing the ground properly, compromising your balance and posture. True support feels firm but comfortable, like a good mattress supports your body without being concrete hard or marshmallow soft. Richard, aged 76, never connected his worsening sciatica with his sheepskin slippers until his physical therapist showed him how his entire posture shifted when wearing them versus proper supportive shoes. It was like watching 2 different people, his wife commented. In his old slippers, his shoulders hunched forward, his lower back curved inward, and he leaned slightly to one side. In the supportive shoes, he stood straighter, more balanced, like the man I married 50 years ago. Even if your spine feels fine now, prevention should be your priority. The damage from improper footwear accumulates slowly over years before symptoms become noticeable. By then, movement patterns have become deeply ingrained and harder to correct. Bernard, 81, credits his remarkable mobility to preventative measures he began decades ago. My father was stooped and crippled with back pain by 65, Bernard explained. I decided that wouldn't be my fate. I've always invested in proper supportive footwear, not just for outside, but especially in the house where I spend most of my time. His foresight paid off. At 81, he maintains an active lifestyle that includes tennis twice weekly and daily walks with his wife. Your spine has supported you throughout your life, through decades of work, through raising families, through all of life's challenges and joys. It deserves proper support in return during these golden years. Making this simple change to supportive house footwear could be the difference between maintaining your cherished independence and facing progressive limitation. You clicked on this video because something doesn't feel right with your back. Now you understand the surprising connection between your slippers and your spine health, exactly what to look for in supportive house shoes, and specific exercises to reinforce proper alignment. Your comfort shouldn't come at the cost of your mobility or quality of life. The journey to better spinal health starts with a single step, quite literally, in the right footwear. The change might seem small, but its effects can ripple through every aspect of your daily life, from reduced pain to improved mood to restored activities. As Howard, 84, put it simply, I didn't just change my slippers. I changed my life. Please share your thoughts in the comments if you've experienced back pain related to footwear. Your story could help someone else realize they're not alone in this surprising connection. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified when our next video goes live. We upload fresh, potentially life-saving content daily, and we'd love to have you join our community of health-conscious viewers who are taking control of their well-being.